Hello, everybody, and welcome to my studio. I'm Mary Rose Feldman. Welcome to Free Class Week. I'm so happy you're here. I'm so happy that we get to tangle together, and we're going to have a good time. Every day, you're going to get a free class posted on my YouTube channel. It'll show up automatically, and you are welcome to complete that tile whenever your schedule is available. Whatever works for you, morning, night, a month from now, 2 months from now. These videos don't expire. As of now, they don't expire. They'll remain out there for you to play with as many times as you want. So thank you for being here. Very grateful to tangle together. We're going to start today with a moment of gratitude like we always do. So just go ahead and take a couple good deep breaths. This moment of gratitude can be anything you want it to be, as long or as short as you want it to be. I just invite you to reconnect your body, mind, connect to your surroundings, get all of those senses together without judgment about how you're feeling. Stressed, worried, physically not feeling well. There's no judgment. Just acknowledgement. A couple good deep breaths. Our affirmation for today: I invite joy into my life. Have a good moment of gratitude. Pause the video and come back if needed, and we're going to get started. Okay, so there's the affirmation card. I have an affirmation deck. Randomly, I pull a card before every class, and everybody likes to see the card. So that's what that is. Okay, so we're going to start today. We're going right to our tile. I'm working on a 3.5-inch square tile. This is the Zentangle branded tile, but you don't need that. You can work on anything you want. With the pure Zentangle method, I invite you to use the supplies that bring you joy. And I know that's a slang term by Marie Kondo, but the professional organizer. But there's some truth to it. You want to be able to grab that piece of paper, and as soon as you do that and pick up your pen, you want your body and your mind to just be happy. And for some, that might be smooth paper. For others, that might be rough paper. Maybe it's a journal. Maybe it's a little bit bigger size. Whatever it is, there is no judgment. So I invite you to use whatever supplies you have and you like. Okay, this is what I happen to choose right now because I have a lot of them, and I do enjoy the deckled edge and the Fabriano paper and all of that stuff. We're going to go right to pen. We're doing a tangle. Let me tell you the tangle that we're doing. And I'm going to work with, typically I work with an 03 or an 05 micron pen where I'm working strictly in black. The tangle we're doing is called nipa. N-I-P-A. And this is a headquarters tangle. Yeah, this is a Zentangle headquarters tangle. And what we're going to do is I want you to imagine a wide diagonal wavy line. If you want, you can put in a pencil line, but we're not going to stick to that pencil line. That's just a guide, if you could see that. You could just visualize it coming right down the diagonal of the paper. And in that space, and you don't have to stay confined in that space, I'll show you that in a minute. Let me go in a little bit closer. We are going to put, now I'm back to my pen, big orbs, but they are randomly placed and they are different sizes. I'm even going to put one that goes off the page. I'm going to put one that spans that pencil line. If you penciled a line in, you do not have to do that. That was just a teaching element. So I'm trying to randomly put orbs on this paper of varying sizes and spacing. And I will put another one right about there. Okay, maybe I could put a medium size here. Okay, something like that. Just going to lift my camera up just a little so you can see all of the edges of the tile. Okay, so that's what we have. So the nipa tangle starts with these random orbs. And what you're going to do is, I'm going to back off just because I want to turn my tile this way. We are going to put somewhat of a wavy line, start at the top all the way down, and if I hit any orb on the way, we're going to draw behind. So it goes something like this. I'm going to start here, I'm going to draw this wavy line, and I hit an orb, lift my pen, continue on the other side. I want this to be wavy. I didn't happen to hit anything else until the bottom. I'm going to leave some space, and I'm going to aura that line. And every time I hit something, and again, I'm not going to hit anything. So notice I am not auraing even. That is something you can do if you want these auras to be absolutely even. I do not. I want them to have a little bit of different energy to them. I don't want them to look as perfect as evenly spaced auras. So I'm wiggling my pen, I'm following along, but not super exact on that. I say it all the time to students, imperfections of your hand make your tangling beautiful. It adds energy, it's less mechanical, and it looks like human people drew it, okay? So I like things that have that less perfection in them. And what we're going to do is just keep doing this, and we're going to fill in that space. So now I hit another. Okay, you can go on the other side too. You could work it this way. So I'm working on the left side now, or you could turn your tile upside down to do that side. And you just keep filling in this space. But we're going to add something to this. We are going to add in another tangle called Diva Dance. And this is also a Zentangle headquarters tangle. The original nipa tangle is just auras going all behind the circles. And it's a pretty cool, interesting way to do that tangle. But I want to add something to this, and I want to make these auras a little bit diva dance-ish. Diva dance is when you do an aura. Let's take this aura right here. I do that aura, and then I add a bump to it. And the bumps aren't even. Sometimes they're higher. Sometimes they're shallower. So you come down on that line and you add little dark colored in mountains or hills, however they work. And then when you aura that line again, you're auraing the hills. So the line naturally goes up and down. Okay, so right here I went around that orb. I could have gone behind that orb, just my pen went around it, and that's fine. So you do an aura, and if you're not familiar with the term aura, all that means is when you have an edge, whatever that edge is, you're making a line that mimics that edge with a little bit of space to it. So it can be evenly spaced. It can be randomly spaced, and it can also be tethered, meaning touching on the top and the bottom, but aura'd in the middle. Aura is a magical tool in the Zentangle world. Okay, whenever you're stuck, find an edge and aura it. You can even aura and get shorter and shorter. So I'm not even touching. You can aura tethered and get wider and wider. That was not a good pen stroke. Wider and thicker. So I'm starting here, I'm auraing, and I'm touching there. It is a wonderful, wonderful tool. It is spelled A-U-R-A, aura. Okay, so back to our tile. I made that aura, and now I'm going to add some black bumps in there, drama bumps, and then I'm going to aura. Now, I'm going to aura around the bumps, but if I hit an orb, I'm going to draw behind. So I added a little bit of diva dance, and now I'm going to just aura. I'm not going to add in the diva dance bumps. Maybe I'll do one more aura'd. And then add more diva dance bumps. So you don't have to make it every single line. You can add a little bit of those drama dark spots and then do regular auras for a little bit. And I've been working the one side, so I'm going to turn this around and work the other side. So notice how I started with a little bit, just a wavy line, but the diva dance really added some character and movement in that line. And that's why I added it. So in all of these videos this week for free class week, I go at my own pace. I'm a medium speed tangler. But if you want to enjoy your pen strokes a little bit slower, just pause the video. I go at my own pace just for the size of the video, so it's a little bit easier to manage on your devices. But if I'm going to the next step and you're not ready, it's not that I'm rushing you. Feel free to go at your own pace, enjoy the tangling. If you have your own inspiration in these tiles, you are free to explore those. There's no judgment if your tile goes in a different direction. Nipa is a fun tangle because of the simplicity of it. You can really settle into those pen strokes. Nice simple auras. And then I'm just going to finish up this outer line. I'm going to get to the point that my outer edge is a full line with nothing in between it. So like that. My outer edge is one continuous line uninterrupted. And then I'm going to turn and do the same. So even right now, when you look at this tangle, very simple tangle, auras and orbs, look at the energy because of the movement of the line. The wiggliness. This is a great way to approach a tangle if you've had too much coffee in the morning and you're a little jittery, if you have tremors in your hands. Embrace the energy that you get with your lines. Sometimes we fight that and it tightens up our hand. If we can just embrace it, we'll find more joy in the process. Okay, so that's where we are, Nipa and Diva dance. What I want to do, and just a reminder, pause the video if you need to. What I'm going to do is just darken up my outer line. I want that to be a little bit more prominent than the inside layers. Same pen, I'm just going over it, thickening it up a little bit. So that's what we have. Okay, so what I want to do is our corners are a little blank, but I love the energy going on here, so I don't want to add another tangle. And I'm just going to do simple lines, and it's going to go like this. I'm going to start in that corner, like there's a dot in that corner. I'm going to imagine a diagonal line that goes behind Nipa. So just a diagonal line. And from there, I'm going to do 3 angled lines into that point. So you can also think of it this way. I start in the point and I'm aura-ing the edge. So this time I'm drawing from the point, and then I'm adding 2 lines. Okay, I'll do it down here too. So I have my diagonal line, I'm aura-ing the edge, aura-ing the edge, and then I'm dividing that little triangle into 3 roughly equal spaces. And you see me drawing these lines from different directions. That is how my hand likes to do it. So from here, I can go from the point down, but it's a little bit more difficult for me to have my hand on my tile to go point down over here. So I turn my tile upside down and I'm able to do this direction, okay? Play around and find out what position your hand likes. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start shading and just making sure we keep the videos a little bit shorter. So from here, I'm going to add shading in the diva dance aura areas. All right, but here's what I want to look for. If you look at this line, you see this wave happening. So I'm going to orient this way. It's early here. I'm first recording of the day. You can see a line goes up and then down and then up and then down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for all of the down areas, the valleys, and I'm going to put graphite in those valleys a little bit to the right maybe. So here's lines that go down, lines that go down. Here's a whole bunch that go down, and you might not find a lot. Anywhere where you see the undulation of the line. And essentially what we're doing is creating the shadows in the valleys, and then the top areas, the mountain parts, will be bright. You need balance, so you're not going to put graphite everywhere. You don't want to make it too dark. You need the balance. You need both darks and lights to get the effect of what we're doing. So I think I'll just leave it there for now. And then with my tortillon, I'm going to blend that to the right and just a little bit to the left, fading it out in both directions, but making sure that I keep the mountain parts, the parts that go up, I want to keep those bright. So when you're blending this out, I'm being very mindful that I'm not going too far. Some places I could blend out a long distance, and some places I have to be a little bit more careful. And my center line is a little bit straighter, so I'm just throwing some graphite in there to soften how dark it is, or how straight it is. And look at that. Look how three-dimensional now that that starts happening, just because we got some darks and lights in there. You can play with that as much as you want. Okay, we're doing very simple shading in free class week. These are simple tiles with the intent that you get this and you start playing with variations on your own. Okay, so from there, I'm going to look at my orbs, and I just want to put a little bit of a graphite shade in part of the orb. I'm not looking to make it a gem. I'm just toning down how bright white they are. You could color these in black if you want more drama. You could make them a gem. You could do all kinds of things. But for now, we're just going to tone that down a little bit. And then we're going to come along the edge of nipa and add a pretty decent edge shading. So remember, I'm explaining and doing and going right to the next step. I'm not saving space on the video for you to complete the task, so make sure you pause. So that you can enjoy the tangling. So this shading I can blend pretty far because I've got a nice big space here. And it doesn't show up super clear with the lighting that I have for the video. It's darker in person than it appears. You can always add more shading to this, more layers, more depth. I usually do shading in 2 steps. This would be my first step. My second step typically is a second round where I get really dark up against my edges. I don't blend that as much because I want to keep the darkness. And that's my second layer of shading. I'd go details and corners, and I would put more graphite in these valleys to give them a little bit more depth. So see how that just goes a little bit deeper because now I've made it a little bit darker. Those are details that you can play with as much as you want, explore. Ask the what if question. What if I do this? What if I do lined up orbs? All of those things. But for now, I think we're good on this one. So let's go ahead and add our chop. Well, I kind of like it this way. We don't have really an up or down, but that one, that orientation calls to me. Our chop is just our initials on the front of your tile that honors what you created. And then on the back, sign and date. This one happens to be the 28th. Okay, and the tangles we used were nipa, which is a headquarters tangle, and diva dance. All right, there we have it. So take a nice, good, deep breath. Moment of gratitude. And that's it. Thanks for being here with me today. I can't wait to spend the week with you. See you tomorrow. Bye.